They told him he was qualified, but not welcome. In the early 1900s, America was expanding rapidly. Cities were growing taller, bridges were stretching farther, and engineers were shaping the future. But for Black Americans, talent alone was never enough. No matter how brilliant you were, racism could still lock every door in front of you. Cornelius Langston Henderson understood that reality better than most. Born in Detroit around 1887, Henderson grew up during one of the harshest eras of segregation in American history. Yet, from a young age, he possessed a sharp mind and an extraordinary understanding of mathematics and engineering. While many expected Black Americans to remain trapped in low-paying labor jobs, Henderson dreamed of building structures that would outlive generations. That dream carried him to the University of Michigan. In 1911, he graduated with a degree in civil engineering, becoming only the second Black student in the university's history to complete the engineering program. It was an astonishing achievement at a time when most universities barely admitted African American students at all. But when Henderson entered the job market, America showed him its ugly truth. Despite his qualifications, Detroit engineering firms refused to hire him because of the color of his skin. White engineers with less education found work immediately, while Henderson was pushed aside again and again. The nation that praised innovation refused to let a Black man help build it. Then, Canada changed everything. Henderson joined the Canadian Bridge Company in Ontario, where his brilliance finally found opportunity. Unlike many employers in the United States, the company recognized his skill instead of his race. Henderson quickly became one of their most respected engineers, working on massive infrastructure projects that demanded precision, intelligence, and courage. His defining moment came in the 1920s. Detroit and Windsor needed a bridge powerful enough to connect two nations and support growing international trade. The project seemed almost impossible. Engineers would need to stretch a suspension bridge across the Detroit River on a scale never seen before. Cornelius Henderson became chief structural engineer for the Canadian side of the Ambassador Bridge. Day after day, he worked on calculations, steel designs, and structural systems that would determine whether the bridge could survive wind, weight, pressure, and time itself. Every measurement mattered. Every decision carried enormous risk. When the Ambassador Bridge opened in 1929, the world stood stunned. It was the longest suspension bridge on Earth. Newspapers celebrated the engineering marvel. Politicians praised the achievement, and thousands crossed the bridge in amazement. Yet many Americans never learned the name of the Black engineer who helped make it possible. But Henderson was far from finished. Soon afterward, he played a major role in constructing the Detroit-Windsor Tunnel, one of the first underwater vehicle tunnels connecting two different countries. Beneath the Detroit River, giant steel tubes were carefully installed in conditions that were dangerous, difficult, and technologically groundbreaking for the era. Henderson supervised critical portions of the construction, helping create another historic connection between the United States and Canada. Over the next 47 years, his engineering work expanded across bridges, railroads, factories, and international projects. Structures connected to his designs helped industries grow and economies thrive. Millions benefited from his genius, often without ever hearing his name. That was the tragedy of Cornelius Henderson's life. America depended on infrastructure shaped by Black talent while refusing to fully recognize the people behind it. For decades, his story remained buried beneath history books that celebrated others while ignoring him. But steel does not forget its builders. The Ambassador Bridge still stands. The tunnel still operates. And every vehicle crossing between Detroit and Windsor moves through the legacy of a man who refused to let discrimination destroy his purpose. Cornelius Henderson died in 1976, but his work continues to carry nations forward. The engineer America tried to overlook became one of the men who literally connected it to the world.